Hi there, my name is Dr. Kate Scott. I am a naturopathic doctor, and today I thought I would share with you some tidbits of information on how our foods are labeled. I am by no means an expert in this area, so please, if you hear any errors or you know differently, please post below and share the information with the community here on Curated. But I thought a lot of this stuff was interesting as I was reading up on it, and of course, as you guys know, no matter how well informed you are, you go into stores and you see things that are labeled with things that are just absolute silly marketing ploys, some of which are really obvious and others are a little more challenging to discern. One of which I have found to be an issue for myself is actually with respect to our meats, because I just don't know that much about what all of these titles mean. So I decided to look into it, and now I'm here to share it with you guys. So pasture raised is something that we often see put on various meat products, and what that means is simply that the animal was free to roam in a pasture and eat, grubs and insects and whatever it naturally would in its natural existence, but there is no specific pasture-raised certification. That being said, if the meat is also labeled as an organic meat, then it also has to have been pasture raised. So that's kind of like a dual label. Cage free simply means that the animals were uncaged as they were growing. However, it does not mean that they were like free range out and about in open air. So they can still be locked in a facility together, and beak cutting is permitted for chickens. So they're not locked up in tiny little cages, but they are generally kept in a confined area, and beak cutting is allowed. In terms of free range or roaming, so the labels free range just imply that the animal was kept outside 51% of the time, and that they were not fed ruminants in their feedlots. So that part is definitely a positive. But there are no restrictions regarding what the birds can be fed otherwise, and beak cutting and forced mottling through starvation are permitted. So I know some of this is hard to listen to. I apologize, but if you're eating it, then we should be able to read it and listen to it, right? And unfortunately, there is no third-party auditing for this free range and roaming label as far as I'm aware. So who knows, right? Who knows whether any of that is actually happening. Naturally raised is a protected term, and it means that the animals were raised without the use of growth promoters or unnecessary antibiotics, but it doesn't indicate anything about the animal's welfare or diet. So, and notice that they also say unnecessary antibiotics. So it does not mean or translate to antibiotic free. No added hormones. Honestly, as far as I'm aware, it's illegal anyways to raise poultry or pork specifically with the use of hormones. So if you're seeing it on poultry or pork, it is, as far as I'm aware, strictly a marketing ploy. Whereas if you're seeing it on beef, then it's more relevant. And vegetarian fed is my favorite because I see a lot of poultry that is labeled, so chicken that is labeled as a vegetarian fed, and all that means, because chickens are not naturally vegetarians, is that they were not eating their natural diet. So it's actually not positive, even though a lot of people see it and they think, great, I'm going to get a vegetarian chicken. Not so much. And then natural just implies or means minimally processed, but companies are using the term left, right, and center. And then honestly, because it's a meat product, if it's cut, then it is just through that process, it is a processed meat to some degree, but it will be free of flavorings or additional chemicals. So I'll leave it there for now. It's a complicated thing that I am delving into at this point to try to learn what I can about the industry. But honestly, as most of you guys know, if you guys can get 100% grass-fed and finished, pastured, and ideally locally raised meat, that's what we want to go for. But since most of us are still shopping at the big box stores for our meats, I just thought that perhaps this could be helpful to some of you. So if you guys have any comments, please post them below. I would love to hear from you. Take care.